It's Friday, the 28th of November, 2025. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1's a big one. Business investment, which is a key component of economic growth, had its biggest jump in 4 years during the September quarter. Evidence is growing that the local economy is starting to pick up a head of steam.
A boom in new data centres pushed new capital expenditure 6.4% higher. That was way ahead of expectations. That is a big number in that series. Yesterday's data feeds into next week's September quarter GDP figures. That will give them a boost. Business investment really has been a missing piece of the economic puzzle in recent years. Yesterday's figures augur really well for growth. Now, it comes as a bunch of economic indicators and anecdotal evidence just suggests the economy is picking up a bit of steam. Earlier this week, the October inflation figures were well above expectations, triggering a winding back of any interest rate cut expectations. Last week, the unemployment level fell from 4.5% to 4.3%. In equities, several retailers, notably Harvey Norman, not all of them, but several of them, said the first quarter of this financial year have been really good. Now, of course, this week, Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales are critical, but there's just a sense that things are happening in the economy.
Yeah, the economy might be picking up though, Sean, but many people aren't feeling it. The cost of living crisis hasn't gone away. Is this more about an improvement in certain sectors, like technology?
Yeah, I think that's fair comment. If you look at the CapEx numbers yesterday, construction's trending lower, so too is rental, hiring and real estate services category. Mining and retail trade are fairly flat. The risk is that tech and associated sectors outperform while others around housing and construction underperform. Inflation remains a problem. We've had 3 rate cuts, but given prices are rising faster than the Reserve Bank wants, maybe we're headed for a rate hike. Even talk of a rate hike can dampen any rebound. So I think you're right. We're kind of heading towards a two-speed economy at the very least.
Okay. Story number 2, the financial services regulator has introduced new restrictions limiting how much banks can lend and how much some borrowers can receive as it grows a bit wary of rising risks in the property market.
The Australian Prudential Regulation Authority will limit loans made by banks for mortgages to 6 times the borrower's income. So from early next year, no more than 20% of banks' new mortgage lending will be available to customers borrowing 6 times their income.
How's that work? Can you paint a picture? Give us an example.
Maybe an example.
Yep.
Yeah. So Sydney, median price nearly $2 million. Save 20% deposit, that's $400,000. You need a bit more for stamp duty, etc. But let's say $2,400,000, you borrow $1.6 million, fair enough. To get that loan, you're going to have to earn $267,000 a year. That is a very, very big income. Now, APRA Chair John Lonsdale said the regulator wasn't prepared to wait for a build-up of trouble in the sector, especially among investors, so decided to introduce the debt-to-income rule.
Okay, story number 3. The former Nationals leader, Barnaby Joyce, has formally resigned from the Nationals, ending his 20-year parliamentary career. He's not leaving politics. He's leaving his parliamentary career with the party, clearing the way for him to join right-wing minor party One Nation.
He announced the decision in a statement to the House of Reps yesterday afternoon. Twice leader of the Nats, twice Deputy Prime Minister. Joyce said he had not had conversations with Nationals leader David Littleproud about staying in the party, which I think is extraordinary. He said he did not think the coalition could win the next election. He said they shouldn't focus on winning back Teal's seats. They were pursuing the wrong strategy there. He also highlighted the shift towards the right in many major countries, including the US. While he didn't confirm he'll join One Nation, he did say he was strongly considering accepting a proposal to run as a One Nation Senate candidate in New South Wales.
Okay, story number 4. Cricket Australia is aiming to raise $600 million from the partial privatisation of the Big Bash League franchises.
The administrative body intends to sell 49% of what could eventually be 10 franchises in the domestic 2020 competition, according to the Australian newspaper. Now, the Big Bash League, basically domestic cricket tournament. Each team faces 20 overs. If you ever have your TV on during summer, you're going to see it. Cricket Australia will need to seal agreements with its state bodies to realise the vision, which values a 10-team competition at $1.2 billion. Most potential BBL owners likely to come from India, where the Indian Premier League has unlocked huge amounts of money with its own T2020 format.
Okay, last one. Story number 5, a new collection of 8 canine genomics papers, Sean, published this week, which I'm sure you have read every single one of them, have found that nearly 2/3 of modern dog breeds, including even chihuahuas, contain traces of wolf DNA.
Not much to do with business, but who cares? Great story. 20 years ago, a purebred boxer became the first domestic dog to have her genome sequenced. Ushered in a new era of canine genetics, scientists have now sequenced the genomes of thousands of dogs. Researchers are bringing it all together, according to the New York Times. Other important nuggets of information from the dog scientists: modern dogs are more highly inbred than previously. German Shepherds, particularly interesting. Their population tumbled in World War II. Most US German Shepherds today can trace their ancestry back to one dog, known as Lance of Franjo, who had a sloping back. Now common in that breed. While dogs come from wolves, the two species nowadays very rarely interbreed. And apart from the mighty chihuahuas, other wolf breeds include Labrador retrievers, sled dogs, hunting dogs, and Cocker Spaniels. There you go.
There you go, indeed. There we go. The top 5 business stories, the top 4 business stories, and one good dog story in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Friday, the 28th of November, 2025. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And head along to our website, fearandgreed.com.au, to sign up for our free daily newsletter. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.